With the recent influx of red tide that has caused havoc on Florida's beaches and marine wildlife, most people are curious as to what it is and how it came about in the first place. Florida red tide is a higher than normal concentration of the microscopic alga Karenia brevis. This toxin is what causes respiratory irritation and affects fish, marine mammals like dolphins, sea turtles, birds, and sometimes humans. Red tide can be found in coastal waters year-round, but blooms of Karenia brevis are most often seen in Florida from June to November. Karenia brevis blooms occur along Florida's west coast and elsewhere in the Gulf of Mexico. One of the reasons for Florida's unique red tide is that the Gulf Stream passes right by our state. Warm ocean currents, as well as nutrients from freshwater runoff, help to make Florida one of the best places in the world for Karenia brevis blooms. One of the other major factors for the resurgence of red tide is that there has been a lot of rainfall in this west coastal area. With this, the algae have received a higher concentration of nutrients, which causes more blooms to happen when the waters mix. Every year, blooms of the red tide organism, Karenia brevis, occur on Florida's Gulf Coast and in Tampa Bay. However, this week alone 126 samples were found to have Karenia brevis cells with bloom concentrations over 100,000 per liter, being found in Pinellas County, Sarasota County, and now along Lee County's coast. Historically, the most intense red tides have occurred between Fort Myers and Tampa Bay. However, there are other areas like the Keys that can also be affected by red tide. The blooms may affect some beaches more than others depending on several variables, like wind direction and ocean currents. As of today, Lee County and some other areas have been experiencing filter feeder bans due to potentially dangerous levels of toxicity that the red tide can cause in humans. Over 600 tons of marine life have been found dead along the coastlines. However, there are still no reported human deaths as a result of this current phenomenon. According to the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, FWC, Karenia brevis blooms often dissipate naturally, but their duration can range from days to months. The red tide organism Karenia brevis lives mainly in deep waters during the bloom season, but it's transported closer to shore on ocean currents and winds. That's right, the blooms come and go. And while most of them are unpredictable as to when they will occur, there are some other factors that have been found to be relevant to their duration in the past. For example, a National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration study from 2006 revealed that prolonged pulses of nutrients at high levels were associated with red tide events that last longer than the typical bloom period of 10-30 days. How long it lasts depends on weather conditions such as wind direction, strength, and speed. Salinity levels in coastal waters caused by freshwater runoff from heavy rainfall or man-made changes to natural water flows, and local geography such as bays or estuaries with restricted flow up to sea. According to a recent study from Penn State University, the red tide organism that is causing so much damage this year, Karenia brevis, is actually native to Florida and has been around for eons. The current bloom has been characterized as the longest lasting on record. In addition to the economic impact, the effects on humans from eating seafood contaminated with red tide toxin can be rather worrisome. Some of the symptoms from eating too much seafood that has been tainted by red tide are known to include diarrhea, vomiting, stomach cramps, liver damage, and other flu-like symptoms. Those who suffer from inflammation-related illnesses should be particularly worried about red tide because the toxins are known to aggravate asthma and other respiratory conditions. This is because the rhizixin poison emitted by Karenia brevis disrupts cellular metabolism in ways similar to that of the human immune cell COX-2 enzyme. Any form of inflammation that occurs in the human body is known to have a direct correlation with COX-2 activity. Inflammation is what causes swelling in the joints and muscles, as well as pain. In extreme cases, this can lead to serious illnesses such as inflammation of the heart muscles or brain arteries. There are various ways to curb inflammation, including taking natural anti-inflammatory supplements. Here are a few. Glucosamine is an amino acid that has been found to help prevent inflammation and even reverse it. It also helps repair cartilage in joints like knees, elbows, ankles, etc. It's only natural for the body to begin breaking down cartilage as we age, which causes pain, joint stiffness, and muscle weakness. Glucosamine helps the body make more of its own cartilage to cushion joints and improve mobility. When our bodies run out of glucosamine, we start breaking down joint tissue, which causes pain and arthritis-type symptoms. Omega-3 fatty acids are a type of essential polyunsaturated fatty acid that your body needs for many important functions. Omega-3s play a major role in reducing inflammation, regulating blood pressure and cholesterol levels, and boosting brain and nerve function. It is important to note that omega-3s will not reduce inflammation in the body if you are taking anti-inflammatory medications, as these medications will work against them. You also need to be sure not overconsume omega-3s, as they are considered an essential omega fat, which means that we need to have them present in our diet or it can lead to health complications. One of the most crucial and important natural anti-inflammatory supplements is CBD. CBD is a plant-based, non-intoxicating natural compound that reduces inflammation. CBD binds to several receptors and enzymes, and therefore its mode of action remains elusive. CBD anti-inflammatory potential may be due to its ability to inhibit the COX-2 enzyme, which is involved in prostaglandin production. CBD also regulates immune cells and reduces the release of inflammatory mediators like cytokines and chemokines. CBD's anti-inflammatory effects may also be related to its antioxidant and neuroprotective properties, which could help reduce neurotoxicity caused by oxidative stress. This oxidative stress is one of the main correlations with those that have overconsumed fish with red tide toxins. We recommend Nature's Gem CBD as the CBD of choice to combat symptoms of inflammation stemming from exposure to Florida red tide.